The Pacers in a 2-1 lead, 116-107. How about Benedict Mathurin, a playoff career high, 27 points. Tyrese Halliburton goes for 22, 9, and 11. Siakam, 21 points. TJ McConnell, 10 points, 5 assists, 5 steals. SGA had 24 in this game, but he also had, yikes, 6 turnovers, and that was really the difference in this game. The Pacers scored 21 points off of 19 Indiana turnovers. All right, back here with Roy Hibbert, John Gonzalez, and Roy, what a fourth quarter defensively and making buckets. What impressed you about the Pacers in that fourth quarter?
I know we'll talk about this bench, but, you know, Ben Mathurin, who was amazing, he brought that dog in him. He was up playing defense. He was hitting some tough shots. TJ McConnell, I think whenever he plays downhill and touches the paint, good things happen. He had 5 assists, great dishes to Obi Toppin, to Ben Mathurin, Nesmith. He's always a player when he has the ball in his hands. And to me, you know, I think that Miles Turner didn't have like a great offensive game, but 5 blocks. Indiana had 11 on the night to their 4. It was great. The assists were good. The fast break points were there, 17 tonight as opposed to like the 6 the last game. So they played within themselves. They played in their identity. Defense, you started off in the third quarter and went into the fourth, but it was a much different win instead of game one, because in game one they were hitting threes. OKC was trading 2s for 3s. That was the reason why they won that game. But this one was just straight to the basket, and they played with their identity.
Yeah, everything was better for the Pacers tonight, right? I mean, except for the three-point shooting, which they somehow overcame. Didn't have a great three-point shooting night. But coming into this game, what did we talk about? Tyrese Halliburton had to be more aggressive, more involved early. He was excellent, almost went for a triple-double. Pascal Siakam had to be involved. He was involved. They had to take care of the ball. The turnovers for Oklahoma City, very uncharacteristic. They're usually the #1 team in basketball at taking care of the ball. Tonight they had 19 turnovers, the most they had in any game in this postseason. And then the bench was absolutely ridiculous. Are you kidding me? 49-18. The Pacers bench outscored Oklahoma City. You mentioned Mathurin goes for 27. That guy is a bucket. 27 points in 22 minutes? Are you kidding me? And then TJ McConnell is everywhere all the time. 5 steals. You can't stop that guy. Full marks to the Pacers.
TJ McConnell, the first player in NBA Finals history with 10 points, 5 assists, and 5 steals off the bench since steals became official in 1974. That guy is just getting after it. Like, that's the guy that you see at your local gym just not quitting. He's in the NBA, he's hungry, and he's helping get them victories here in the postseason. We've seen, this isn't new in the finals if you haven't been watching the Pacers. He's been doing this all postseason, Roy. Yeah,
you know, actually, this story is actually, I haven't really told too many people. When he first got in the league for Philadelphia, I was at the end of my career. I was on 3 teams in 1 year, and I was actually trash talking him. I was a little upset at my career, and I was saying, who is this guy? Get him off the court. Attack him, attack him, attack him. You know, and I actually saw him a couple years ago, and I actually apologized. I said, hey, you know what? Your game is perfect for Indiana. You play with heart. You dive on the floor. You bring that energy, and he encompasses what Indiana is all about. Every time I see him, I always have to apologize to him and shake his hand because I was on a bench that night. Today, he proved everybody wrong. He's a great player. He deserves to be in this league. And if he keeps this up, man, he's going to be a champion.
You are an honorable man right there. I appreciate that, Roy Hibbert. Yeah. John, when you look at what Benedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell did, both former Wildcats, I might add, they get wild in this game. They're essentially the difference along with the turnovers, but I want to take you a different route here. Okay. This defense for Indiana in the fourth quarter, Miles Turner had 5 blocks in this game. It was stifling defense. What did you see?
I saw this guy to my left here, Roy Hibbert, just screaming up and down all over the studio, could not contain himself, and with good reason. That defense was excellent. Miles Turner, Roy talked about it. He wasn't great offensively tonight, but his energy and the defense that he brought was huge. And then that bench, we talked about TJ McConnell just being everywhere all the time. He doesn't give up on any plays. Playing those passing lanes, they really frustrated Oklahoma City. I keep coming back to this. This is a team in Oklahoma City that is excellent at taking care of the ball. And they weren't tonight, and that was partly because they were a little bit sloppy, but mainly because that bench unit and that defense for Indiana, and they don't always play through their defense. They're an offensive-oriented team. They like to push the ball. They like to run. They like to run off of even makes. Tonight, they were playing defense. It was a lot of effort. Akeem where you just thought, okay, this is the kind of night, first night in 25 years that they've had an NBA Finals game on their floor. The crowd brought it, the team brought it, the defense brought it. They were good at both ends of the floor tonight.
I'm happy for a guy like Miles Turner, Roy, because I feel like he's a guy who's been on the trade block for the last 6 seasons. Like, he's always a possible trade candidate. But here he is in the NBA Finals coming up clutch, a guy that loves Legos. He doesn't play with Legos. He makes that clear. He's dedicated to collecting Legos. He builds Legos. And now he's helping the Pacers 2 wins away from building an NBA championship.
Well, you know, I love me some Miles. He was the guy that the Pacers drafted to get my butt up out of there. So good for him. He's going to win a championship. I was just at Legoland 2 days ago. Miles, I'm going to bring you a set, a Star Wars set when I come to Game 4. All right, I'm really happy for you. 5 blocks. That, you know, for me, I'm a defense guy first. Block shots around the rim. He was up in the drops. He was making, you know, getting contested shots, blocking shots. Not just around the paint. He played really well. But one thing I want to say, besides Miles, I always say, people always talk about the basketball gods, you know, the bounce came to you. Indiana took the space. Any opportunity they could, Halliburton would shoot a 3, and then SGA would kind of like contest and then walk off the court a little bit. The basketball gods didn't just let the ball bounce right to Halliburton. He went after it, and then they got a nice little dunk on the basket at the end. Then right after the next possession after, Obi Toppin goes for the offensive rebound. He's not waiting for the ball to come to them. They're actively going after it. I love that energy. Would I love for them to be able to do that in Game 2? Yes, but obviously when you have the Indiana crowd behind you, it gives you a different type of energy. The
one name we haven't taken a deep dive on here is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP. Because he wasn't a reason why they won this game. You could say he was a reason why they lost this game, John. He had 6 turnovers this game. This was uncharacteristic of SGA. So what did the Indiana Pacers do to disrupt him?
Nembhard was a nudge tonight, right? It was all over him. I mean, that was team defense. It was really good effort by the Pacers. Kind of flipped the script on Oklahoma City, where Oklahoma City, in the first 2 games against Tyrese Halliburton, they were blitzing him, they were trapping him, they were making life difficult for him, taking the ball out of his hands. Same thing tonight. Now, SGA is SGA. He still goes for 24 points and 8 rebounds and 4 assists.
But 9 of 20.
Yes, it was an uncharacteristic night for him. He was not efficient, and him having 6 turnovers, I would never have believed that, because if there's anybody you want with the ball in his hands, it's the MVP, SGA. So again, full credit to that Pacers defense tonight. They came into this game tonight and they decided that they were going to swarm, they were going to play great collective team defense, and they really threw SGA and Oklahoma City off their rhythm.
Pacers at home for the first time in an NBA Finals game in some 25 years. And man, Roy, I mean, they not only reward their home fans, this isn't like some squeak win. This was resounding. Yeah. What statement? And I know it's only 3 games and they're up 2 games to 1 and it's still 2 games to go to win an NBA championship. But this game perhaps says something more than about what they did in Game 1.
Yeah, it shows that they can win in different situations. They could be down 20, and then they can come back. I don't like that. It makes me have a little bit more gray hair. But at the same time, they can be in a competitive game and then not lose focus. Now, Game 4, I'm going to that game. Hopefully they can bring it again and close it out. I think OKC does a good job of taking the punches, reassessing, and then coming back and then minimizing those mistakes that they've made before. So that's why I have a feeling it's going to go to a 7. Now, hopefully they can win when I'm at home in Cambridge. But it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Oklahoma City, we'll see how they respond, right? But let's not forget, in the second round against the Denver Nuggets, they lose Game 1 on their floor with that Aaron Gordon shot. They're down 2-1 in that series. It goes to 7. They've answered the bell every single time. Now, this might be a little bit of a different animal because the Pacers, they've got their own little playoff basketball god magic that has been dusted all over this team, and they put Oklahoma City on notice. They're up 2-1. They only have to win at home. Right? If they win at home, the rest of this series, they're going to be NBA champions. So Oklahoma City has to respond. We'll see what happens in Game 4 on Friday, but they've been put on notice.
Oh, I have to say real quick, though.
Yeah,
OKC, next game, they cannot miss free throws down the stretch. I think the differential was not that small, but 6 or 7 missed free throws, especially SGA down the stretch, that can't happen. I suspect that they're going to correct that next game.
I say it all the time. Make your free throws, kids. Make your free throws. And again, Indiana, the 3rd team in NBA Finals history with multiple wins down by 5 points entering the 4th quarter. The other 2 teams, the 1970 Knicks and the 1997 Chicago Bulls. Both those teams won it all. Still ahead, we look ahead to Game 4 of the NBA Finals. And Game 4 of the NBA Finals coming your way 8:30 Eastern back in Indianapolis. You can see the entire series on ABC. How was Game 3 of the NBA Finals won? It was won in the fourth quarter. Pacers outscoring the Thunder 32-18, shooting an eye-popping 62% from the floor, playing stifling defense. Overall, OKC turned the ball over 19 times. It led to 21 Indiana points. And the Yesers have themselves a 2-1 series lead going into Game 4 on Friday night. All right, back here with the two-time All-Star with the Pacers, Roy Hibbert, CBS Sports HQ NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And Roy, you look at what the Pacers did in the fourth quarter. How do they carry that over into the first quarter of Game 4? Because you can't let what just happened go, okay, we're going to rest on our laurels. You know the Thunder are going to come out hot in Game 4.
Yeah, for the Pacers, I feel like they just have to stay true to their identity and what's gotten them here. Pace, hitting threes when possible, and then getting back in transition. Having some good defense. They don't need to be the best defensive team in the NBA, but you got to put up some resistance and not foul so much. I thought in the first half there was a lot of touching fouls, and the referees were calling fouls early, and then they let them play. And then sometimes, Nembhard would get his hand in the cookie jar. So I would make sure they don't put the OKC Thunder on the free throw line, and then make sure they play with pace. The 17 fast break points as opposed to 6 in game 2. This is definitely the key to success.
When you look at what OKC has to change from what they did in Game 3 to Game 4, what's one thing that you're circling on? They got to be better. It's got to be the turnovers. It's got to be better bench play, or I'm not sure. You tell me. Yeah,
you said one thing. I'll give you 3. Those 2 things, and then also the fourth quarter, right? I mean, this is now 2 games out of 3 where they went into the fourth quarter with a lead, and they came out of it with an L. Game 1 obviously was a massive letdown. Tonight, 5 points. Roy and I are watching the game. 5 points going into the fourth quarter. Oklahoma City led, and we both went, man, they're close. Pacers are within striking distance. But yes, if you're going to just talk about the stats and the numbers, the turnovers, highly, highly unusual. I'd be shocked if they have that many turnovers in Game 4. And then the bench scoring. I mean, look, these 2 teams both have really good benches. They both rely on their benches. Pacers bench ran them off the floor tonight. You got to get a way better effort from Caruso, from Hartenstein, from that whole Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, all hands on deck for that Oklahoma City bench in Game 4.
For me, for OKC, I don't want to say Chet was an issue. He played great. 20 points, 10 rebounds. There was certain times down the stretch where he got put under the basket by Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner for like some easy buckets there. Offensively, he's great. Maybe he needs to pick it up a little bit more on the defensive end, have a little bit more resistance when people try to get into his chest. Now, I would say this. I was never an MVP, never sniffed anything close to anything like that. But SGA in the fourth quarter, 3 points, 1 for 3 from the field. 1 rebound and 0 assists. He needs to be able to pick it up, and he's been shown to be able to do that, but he needs to have a little bit more of a game where he takes over and also distributes the ball a little bit better.
Who are you calling on to step up for the OKC Thunder in Game 4?
Yeah, I mean, it's SGA to start, right?
Yep, 6 turnovers in Game 3.
6 turnovers in Game 3. He's the MVP for a reason. He was excellent all season long. He was excellent in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals. He's the reason primarily while they're here. They're all good, right? They won 68 games during the regular season. They were the #1 seed. But when your main guy is turning the ball over, 6 turnovers, too many, right? They have 19 total, the most that they've had in this postseason in a single game. He's got to lock it up. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. He's been, the first 2 games he was really good. That first game where he goes for 38, by his standards, that 38 wasn't very efficient. It was kind of like a C-plus game, and then the last game was Game 2.
Sure.
He really got going. So I'd expect more of that SGA than the SGA we saw tonight.
What if I told you that the Pacers are 8-0 when Caitlyn Clark is in attendance?
Wow.
She's got to go on the road with them.
Yes.
Put her on the team plane.
Right? I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's one great, lucky charm right there, right? I mean, you have her in the house. The energy is flowing, I mean, are you trying to go to this game 4 here?
I'm going to the game. When I played, I used to go to Tamika Catchings games all the time to support her. You know, she was a great champion and everything like that. I love how Halliburton supports the Fever and the Fever supports the Pacers. It's a good, you know, symbiosis right there, and it gets the fans going and everything like that. So I would love to know the stats when I go to games. Hopefully it's better.
I can tell you this: you're 2-0 on this desk when the Pacers play in the NBA Finals.
Well, bring me back.
2-1, I guess.
But with
7,
me, bring me back. Bring me back. I'll come
All right,
back
well,
sure.
if you can't get a seat at the field house, you can have a seat here on Friday. You're always welcome. John, what if I told you the Thunder are still favored to win the series? They're still favored to win the series.
That would surprise me, because you and I talked about this in NBA history in the NBA Finals. When the series is tied 1-1, the team that goes on to win Game 3 wins 80% of the time.
Yep.
So I guess the odds makers are looking at it as Oklahoma City was the best team during the regular season, during the playoffs. They have responded, as we mentioned. I keep coming back to that Denver series, but they were down Game 1, then they were down 2-1, then they had to take it to Game 7. They have answered every test that we've asked of them coming into this playoffs and in this postseason. So I wouldn't count them out just yet, but I'd rather be Indiana right now, because look, they just keep finding ways to win basketball games in the postseason.
Roy said Pacers in 7 before the series started. Are you reassessing your pick at this point through 3 games?
Yes, I keep reassessing it. It was Oklahoma City in 5. Then today you and I were talking about it, and I said, let's expand it. Oklahoma City in 6. I guess I'm going Oklahoma City in 7. I don't feel great about that right now. You know what I'm doing? Forget about my prediction. I'm rooting for this guy. I'm rooting for Indiana. That's such a fun story. I mean, both of these teams are deserving. Whoever ends up as champions, they've both had excellent seasons. But the vibes and the magic and whatever's going on in Indiana right now is awfully fun.
It's incredible what they are doing. Indiana, the first team in finals history to win 2 of the first 3 games in a series, down by 5 points entering the 4th quarter. They're going to look to take a commanding 3-1 series lead on Friday night. The Thunder going to look to go even Steven. Roy Hibbert, John Gonzalez here with us on CBS Sports HQ. And, of course, Game 4 coming your way, 8:30 Eastern on ABC, back in Indianapolis. Perhaps Caitlyn Clark will be back in the house to go to 9-0 in the playoffs. We'll have to wait to see if she's courtside. Roy Hibbert going to be courtside there. Get him a seat. You got to get him down there. I want to see you on the broadcast, Roy. You can see all these games over on ABC.